I'm standing at a road crossing, the Appalachian Trail, which is more or less the place where I ended my last section hike. This is my first time backpacking on the AT since I was banged up in that head-on car accident I've talked about several times. And the 2 or so years I spent limping around, and the time I spent on a walker and crutches after I had the operation to fix what was wrong with me. I will emphasize that 3 months ago I had my annual exam. It was a year since the surgery that fixed me up from the wreck. At that time, the surgeon x-rayed me and he said I was in fine shape and good to go. And I said, how about the Appalachian Trail? Am I in fine shape to go to the Appalachian Trail? And he said, I don't know why not. So there you have it. Yet at the same time, we've heard of through hikes and section hikes. I think this is going to be a no clue hike because I really have no clue how this is going to go. And the main reason I say that is on my other section hikes, with the exception of the very first one, each was preceded by a year of pretty vigorous training specifically to come back here, involving a lot of hard stuff like walking 4 miles an hour on trails that went up and down modestly sized hills and so forth. And I think that was important for a couple of reasons. When I come out here to a section hike, I have a limited amount of time. And it's important to me that I'm in good shape when I get to this place so I can take off without any trouble. It also minimizes greatly, I believe, the odds of having problems with sore feet and sore legs and that sort of thing. And at the moment, I've only been able to really train for 3 months since I had that annual exam. The walking I did before then was just physical therapy. So this means that my habit used to be go to the AT every year and train nonstop in the meantime, but now I'm coming out here with only like basically 3 months training. I think it's important always when we come to a trail, especially this one, that we do not cling to our expectations too tightly. And I don't have much expectations except to walk on this thing for a modest number of days and get it done and go home. And that, I'm pretty confident, will happen. What else is going to happen, exactly how this is going to play out, I don't know. But we're about to find out because we're going that way. We had a chance of rain today, but it looks like we're just getting some drizzle and some nice spooky fog. The Appalachian Trail is about 10-15 yards down there. As I was walking by this spot, about time to call it a day, I looked up and I thought it looked flat up here. And it is flat up here. So here's where I spent the night. There's my Gatewood Cape set up as a shelter. And as you can see, the Blue Ridge Parkway runs parallel to the AT. It does this for quite a bit of a section in the area loosely known as north of Daleville. Here's the trail, and here's what the flat spot looks like from the trail. My hint it was flat was that I could see trees, but I couldn't see the bottom of the trees. Well, this is the morning of day 3. On day 1, I arrived at the trail at 2 o'clock and took off. I had a 1,000-foot climb ahead of me going about 3 miles, and I did that at about roughly 1.8 miles an hour, which to me demonstrated the point that I had accomplished something with my training. And then I decided to slow down for 2 reasons, one of which just to take it a little bit easier. Another reason is before the auto accident I've talked about repeatedly, I had a shoulder surgery on my right shoulder. As a result of that, the bone into which the arm fixes, I don't remember the name of it, ordinarily in normal anatomy it's somewhat padded on top. Well, after I had that surgery done, mine is no longer so well padded, and that bone protrudes quite a bit. This was something I did not expect, and it has made carrying a pack uncomfortable on that shoulder. To compensate for it, I've rigged up a piece of closed-cell foam on the shoulder pad. I always carry some of this in case I have to kneel on the ground, for example, in rocks to adjust the pin stake. So I always have a spare piece of closed-cell foam, and I cut a chunk off and use it for this job. It helps somewhat. So not only is this aggravating, it's also slowing me down because I find I have to stop every so often and raise the strap off that shoulder to let it rest for a minute. Even if the shoulder was not an issue, I would not be doing high miles out here at the moment because I'm taking it easy, taking it slow. For the time being, the goal is just to get up over the hills. So because I was basically misdiagnosed with that leg injury for 2 years, I thought I would never ever section hike again. I thought I was finished. I started the YouTube channel as a way to reminisce and relive what had gone on before and maybe provide some tips that would help others. I did not expect to be out here at that time. Now that I am out here, it feels a lot the same as it always was. On our scale of Appalachian Trail difficulty, going uphill on a dirt road is pretty darn easy. I'm going downhill now. I like going downhill. Some downhill sections are pretty nasty. They're steep with big rocks. Just takes time to get over them. This, I think anybody can move pretty quick on this. Looks like we had some trail maintenance done here. Without trail maintenance, the AT would be overgrown in pretty short order. By short order, I mean a couple years probably. Except for the very rocky parts. Now this section of trail here is ridiculously easy to walk on. It's like walking down the hallway of your house to the bathroom. It's so easy. Even this many rocks are not terribly pleasant to walk on. And rocks like these score even lower on the comfort scale. Remember that patch of trail that was like your hallway at home? Another patch that wasn't quite that good, another patch that wasn't quite that good. This is less good than all of them. Before I laid eyes on the AT, I thought all of it would be like this. Silly me. This is what I call steep. Let's see, that spot right there is 12 feet above my head, maybe 15. I heard a noise and looked up. Right where that stick is, there was a lovely bear. A really nice one. Excellent condition. Good body weight. Marching at me as if he was going to walk right over top of me. So I reprimanded him ever so firmly. He beat a retreat. So there's the trail switchbacking. He may have been going down that. That may have been his intent. Raining. Pretty loud. This particular shelter, being on the very top of a hill, has a cistern. Water runs from the shelter roof into or through those two collectors. I suppose that's the tank, and that I don't know what it is. Downhill from the shelter is the spigot. As my white tub shows, there are bits of stuff in the water from the cistern, so I'll filter it using that cloth, this funnel, and then I'll treat it. Water has actually been good this trip. I had been checking the weather for a week or two before I came out here, and it was raining quite a bit. If it was dry conditions, the cistern would have nothing in it. And I have not passed a dry spring yet either. I've got an update on that shoulder issue I talked about earlier. That piece of closed cell foam I duct taped to my pack strap seems to have done the trick. It hasn't been giving me any more trouble. So that's where everything stands. It's still delightful to be out here. It's like reconnecting with an old friend. A scenic view from the top of a cow pasture. On the AT, of course. Lovely view. As I said before, water is pretty good out here at the moment. This is a stream that's very nice. Very big pool here. Since I posted my gear list video, I added something, a Sawyer squeeze that we see here. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to make an effort to get in the habit of carrying less water. So the idea behind the Sawyer squeeze was if I ran out and I arrived at a place such as this, I could fill up a liter and drink it right there on the spot without having to wait for Aquamira to process. But if I have water with me, I'll also use Aquamira, which I have here. And like I said, the Sawyer weighs 3 ounces, so I thought it was a very modest addition. And in fact, I think I'm going to do, I'll do a video later on how my ultralight gear list did on this trip. I've passed a couple of hikers, both northbound section hikers and southbound through hikers, who have asked about water at shoulders I've walked past, yet they've walked past streams like this without apparently considering them. Well, I will consider it and I will use it. Like I said before, if I use that white tub, I can tell at a split second if there's any bits of junk in there, and I think I demonstrated that at the cistern previously. So that's the story on water this time. It's a very pleasant place when it's got water, and it's been raining a lot. It rained pretty strongly 2 nights ago. I think I got that on video. So it makes for a more pleasant excursion. This spout is a curled leaf someone rigged up. Very creative. About 200 yards back, I dropped my favorite bandana, which was a sentimental loss. So I stashed my pack in the bushes over yonder, and I walked back about a quarter of a mile looking for it. I didn't see it, so I thought, well, maybe somebody grabbed it. I just gave it up. And on the way back, I found it. Because of the way the sun was shining, I couldn't see it on the out trip, but I spotted it on the in trip. Small victories are what count. Well, I've been moving pretty good the past couple of days. A couple times that I measure myself on footing like this, or going slightly uphill on footing like this, I could top 2.5 miles an hour. I think at one point I hit 2.8, but those were just sort of experiments. I'm still trying to take it easy. I finally did get into the habit of getting up at a decent hour. There's a road not far from me, road crossing down there. There's quite a bit of talk on the trail about the hurricane, Irma, I believe it is, and it's supposed to rain pretty good here in a couple of days. Of course, the ATC has had some bulletins about possible threats, or maybe definite threats in Georgia and western North Carolina. Well, I'm in my car at a Shell station. Looks like regular is 269. The hike is over. It was a successful experience. I was not very fast, but I got to see it again. It was like old times come back, except I was a bit slower. But, you know, it was sort of, as I think I may have suggested, sort of a orientation run for hopefully more things to come, with more time to do more of my homework at home in terms of training and everything. With luck, things will turn out pretty good next time. I will post some numbers on this when I get done here. Also, I'm going to do another video on how that ultralight gear list did on the trip, because that was a very popular video. And I'm also going to do another video upcoming, pretty quick I hope, on section hiking, and that will include some details of this hike as examples. So there we have it. Pretty good time. Yes, sir. And now we're done. And thanks for watching.